Hi, friends. This is your pal Scott Garibay, and today I want to talk about American politics, and I want to give you a new opinion I have. I believe that America and Canada are in a Cold War. Yep, right. It started in 2025, and it started because of Donald Trump. I voted for Donald Trump in 2024. I did not vote for him in 2016, and I really didn't want to vote for him in 2024. I really wanted to vote for Vivek Ramaswamy. But when it was a decision between Biden and Trump, it became extremely clear. There was no way I was going to go through another 4 years of what we went through before. And then I didn't really believe that Kamala Harris was a real candidate. I think she was a placeholder. She was never meant to win. And so I certainly wasn't going to vote for a placeholder. I don't think she functioned as an actual candidate, personally. I think she definitely functioned as a candidate for the Democrats to lose gracefully, but she was never intended to be a candidate that could win. They realized they like cocked it up with Biden and were like, we ain't got no chance. Like, so let's, but they could have had an open primary. They could have done something, but they didn't. And so I certainly wasn't going to vote for Kamala Harris. I don't think she was a real candidate, personally. All right. So Trump came in, right, and he tariffed Canada immediately. And immediately, Canada started sending a whole bunch of shade our way to America. They're like, we don't like you guys. They were booing us. They were booing us in leagues we own, right? So the NFL had a match, and I'm like, wait, what are you guys doing? We allow you to be in our leagues, right? That was our goodwill extended to you, right? And now you're going to use the NFL to boo Americans? Are you out of your mind? Right? That's like that. Sorry, let me back it up. I should say, are you out of your mind? That's not appropriate. I apologize. All Canadians are completely in their right mind. All right. What are you thinking? That's a better way to say it. All right. What are you thinking? Okay. All right. And here's the issue, right? So first of all, I think we are in a Cold War. And the reason why is, so here's the issue, right? Canada is just poor man's France, right? It's not really even its own country. I'm not joking about this. I went to Canada. I was shocked. I lost all respect for that nation when I went there. And I was on this duck boat, right? It was pretty cool. It was a boat that could go into water and it could drive up on land, right? And this Canadian points over and he goes, you see that church over there? And I was like, yeah. He's like, every week, that church, you are not allowed to sit in the front row of all the pews. Like, it's 30 seats. Nobody is allowed to sit there. And I was like, why? And he's like, the Queen. They save it for the Queen. And I was like, wait, what? And actually, the Queen was dead at this point, but nobody cared. Literally, I think Britain loves their dead queen more than they do their living king. No question. Even I do. Right, because their living king treated Princess Di like trash. Like he's a trash human in my opinion. I don't like him. What he did to Princess Diana was abominable. I have no respect for the King of England. Let me keep it super tight, right? And stay on Canada, right? Okay, all right. So Canada, right? And they're like, that's for the Queen of England. I'm like, what? Are you kidding me? Right? And I'm like, aren't you guys about France? And they're like, yeah, but it's for the Queen of England. And I'm like, what are you talking about, right? And I was shocked. I'm like, and I was like, has she ever come and sat? And he goes, no, she ain't never gonna come. I was like, what? And it's abominable. I don't really think America fought a war to free itself from Europe. Canada is still under the thumb of Europe, France and England, right? And they're not fighting, they're cleaving to it. It's like a 40-year-old person who doesn't leave their parents. It's pathetic, right? So I think Canada is pathetic, right? And the issue is, and that'd be okay. We wouldn't have a need for a Cold War if they were just pathetic, right? But the thing is, they put their nose up at us. They're like, oh, you guys are disgusting. You guys don't have universal health care. And I'm like, yeah, you know why we don't have universal health care? Because we're spending hundreds of millions of dollars every year to defend you. You don't have a real military, right? We have militias. We have militias in my state that could take over your entire nation in a weekend, right? Like, because you guys don't have a real military, right? And you have universal health care because we pay for it by paying for your real military, right? So you don't get to mock us while you can take hundreds of millions of dollars from us every year, right? And so that's the issue, right? And that's the issue, is just the gall of these people to look down their noses at us. And so at this point, we're in a Cold War. I really believe we're in a Cold War. Now, Scott, what do you know about Cold Wars? Well, I've lived through one. I was born in 1970, and we had a Cold War with Russia until 1991, right? So I lived through 21 years of a Cold War. I know exactly what a Cold War looks like. And we are in a Cold War with Canada at this point, in my humble opinion. Now, does that mean it's going to turn into a hot war? Yeah, definitely could. I think it definitely could, right? They've been extremely disrespectful to us, and they just elected a dude who was literally elected to fight Donald Trump, right? You want to catch these virtual hands, like Canada? Sure, come and get it, right? We're in a Cold War now. Might heat up to a hot war. I'm okay with that. I think we'll win, right? Like, because the reality is, I'm really tired of it now. Okay, wait, Scott, aren't you an evangelical Christian? Shouldn't you be hoping for peace? Yeah, that's a good point. You got me there. All right, so what's going to get rid of this Cold War then? Okay, fair enough, right? Prime Minister of Canada, you need to apologize to America for ever putting your nose up to us and just say, hey, we're sorry. We should have been really respectful to you guys because you paid for our real military. We don't have a real military. You protected us all these years. We should have been respectful to you guys. We shouldn't have, stuck our nose in the air because you don't have universal health care, because the only reason we do is because you paid for it. So if he apologizes and says those things, bet. It's on. Cold War's off. No hot war. Good to go. Every single word you just heard in this video is my humble opinion. Absolutely nothing more. Absolutely nothing less. The important part is when I get to hear your humble opinion. When you get in the comments and send your traffic. Please consider subscribing and have a fetch millennium.